The American flag is the symbol, the literal embodiment of the American ideal of liberty, meritocracy, sacrifice, and hope. She was born from the need for a ragtag, unprofessional Continental Army made up of shopkeepers, farmers, barbers, preachers, etc., to have a unifying symbol. Many flags were flown from the time of the first shots at Lexington and Concord until June 14th, 1777, when Congress adopted what we now know as the Betsy Ross flag as the enduring symbol for the United States of America. This grand old flag is special, for it represents a turning point, not just in a nation, but the philosophies that it represents had an impact on the entire world. It represents the best system of government that has ever been known, one where eventually every citizen would be treated equally by their government. It fully rejected the caste system, and now, no matter to whom you were born or where you were born, you were going to be treated equally and fairly as every other citizen in your nation. But just because it's an old adage doesn't mean it's not a true adage. Freedom is not free. That grand old flag has looked down upon nearly 1.5 million of her sons and daughters as they laid down their life to protect this idea of liberty for all. Young men and women who have bright futures ahead of them, who never got to realize their dreams, so that you and I could have a chance for this freedom. For you that hate this American flag because of what the government has done, you fail to understand that this grand old flag does not represent the government. Their hunger for power, greed, and complete idiocy is all on them and does not taint the philosophies for which she stands. As a matter of fact, many in government really don't like her either, because she is a constant reminder that they cannot do just whatever they want to do. She is the embodiment of the Articles of the Constitution and the amendments of the Bill of Rights that they cannot thwart or resist. Now hear me out before you throw me out. But she really doesn't even represent the American people. She represents something far higher. We are now a nation that is made up of different philosophies and religions and ideals, or no religions at all. She represents something far higher than one religion or one philosophy. She represents freedom, equality for all. Under her waving symbol, you are to be free, free to live your life without fear of the government imposing its will upon you. But you are to impose your will upon them. Today there is a faction within our own government that wants to try to bestow special rights upon special groups of people. But you understand that that flag that flies does not represent collectivism. It represents individual liberty. She stands for the protection of every individual who is a citizen of this nation from an overwhelmingly greedy, vindictive, and power-hungry government. I love my country. I love her citizens. I love the land. But I cannot stand her government. And let's be totally honest. We have been lazy, and we have let this Leviathan grow until it is now out of control, and we really have no one to blame but ourselves. Listen as Thomas Jefferson describes in his own words what the federal government should look like. The true theory of our Constitution is surely the wisest and best. that the states are independent as to everything within themselves and united as to everything respecting foreign affairs, that the general or the federal government be reduced to foreign concerns only, and that our affairs be disentangled from those of all other nations, except as to commerce, which the merchants will manage the better, the more they are left free to manage for themselves. And our general or federal government may be reduced to a very simple organization and a very inexpensive one. A few plain duties to be performed by a few servants. Does that sound anywhere close to what we have today as a federal government? Some of you are very happy right now because your presidential candidate has won the office of president. He's going to go in there and clean this mess up. But can I tell you something? It's not his job to clean it up. It's yours. We have forsaken our responsibility so long, and that is why we are in the mess we are in right now. Remember, that grand old flag has stood by and watched as 1.5 million of her sons and daughters died on battlefields to protect the philosophy that she stands for. They have given their all so that we would have a chance for freedom. Now that mantle falls upon us. We don't have to do it in a hot war. Thankfully, we have the tools at our disposal given to us by the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights. Yet we sit back and let government try to fix government. It is our responsibility to fix government. Hold them accountable on every decision that they make. You are represented by people who are close to your area. Find them and let them know that if they do not represent the Constitution of the United States, you will do everything in your power to primary them and remove them from office. I can hear it already. I don't have time for that. I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. Well, tell that to Lieutenant George Cannon. His posthumously awarded Medal of Honor reads as such. During the bombardment of Midway Island by Japanese forces on December 7th, 1941, he remained at his command post. He continued to direct the reorganization of his command post until forcibly removed. He refused medical attention until he was assured communications were restored to his command post. He remained at his command post despite being mortally wounded by enemy shell fire. He refused to be evacuated until all his men who had been wounded by the same shell were evacuated. He continued to direct the reorganization of his command post until forcibly removed. He refused medical attention until he was assured communications were restored to his command post. As a result of his utter disregard for his own condition, he later died from blood loss. He understood the assignment. Hear me well. Freedom does not protect you. You must protect freedom. It's your freedom. And if you don't want it anymore, then you can go to one of those countries whose flag represents taking away their citizens' freedoms. But as for me, I love what this grand old flag stands for. And I will protect what she stands for until my dying breath. Long live the Republic, and long may she wave. Oh God, please bless America.